We continue with the discussion of George Gilder's Life After Capitalism. This is the second part of the interpretation. In this section, I'd like to start by referencing another book, Reinterpreting the Entrepreneurial Spirit, published in 2022 by Mr. Zhang Weiying. Mr. Zhang's and Gilder's ideas align closely, both advocating for a free market as the driver of economic progress rather than government intervention. Zhang's book focuses more on traditional economic connections, incorporating numerous Chinese cases for observation. In contrast, Gilder's book employs updated thinking tools and research results, paying less attention to immediate audience reactions and going straight for the goal. While one takes a stable approach, the other is more impulsive. Yet, both boldly claim that traditional economics cannot explain the entrepreneurial spirit. Zhang suggests, if my conclusions are basically correct, mainstream economic theory faces significant challenges. Gilder states, all mainstream schools of economic thought share a common misleading error, that is, materialist superstition. The severity of the issue becomes apparent. The fundamental question to answer is, what do entrepreneurs actually do? The term entrepreneur is not used lightly. It carries a highly positive connotation. If you own a business, people might refer to you as the boss, a businessman, a businessperson, an entrepreneur, and so on. So, who can be called an entrepreneur? Suppose you are part of a large company. The largest shareholder only invests but doesn't participate in the company's affairs. The chairman enjoys strategizing and isn't heavily involved in day-to-day operations. The general manager, responsible for routine work, was hired externally at a high salary. Among these three, who is the entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is not a position, not a status, not equivalent to power, and is not determined by what you do in the company but rather by what you do for the company. An entrepreneur is someone who is determined today to do things this way and envisions doing something else tomorrow, shaping and tinkering with the company's business according to their ideas, attempting to achieve something significant. An entrepreneur is an active contributor. For a person with billions in assets from a large state-owned enterprise, if they act solely based on upper-level orders, they are not an entrepreneur. On the other hand, the owner of a small bubble tea shop with a 10,000 yuan asset, if ambitious and inventive, finding creative ways to make money, is an entrepreneur. The world has many bosses, but true entrepreneurs are rare. Zhang Weiying outlines 4 key points of the entrepreneurial spirit. 1. Acute awareness of profit opportunities, able to see opportunities others don't. 2. Can simplify complex problems, grasping the essence. 3. Imagination, capable of creating new products or technologies. 4. Perseverance and patience. Gilder, focusing on entrepreneurs, particularly emphasizes creativity, the ability to create new things and take pride in being different, refusing to be mediocre. In essence, they are saying the same thing. For instance, Zhang lists 5, what entrepreneurial spirit is not, and Gilder would undoubtedly fully agree. 1. Entrepreneurial decisions are not scientific decisions. 2. Entrepreneurial decisions are not solving problems under given constraints. They change the constraints themselves. 3. Entrepreneurs have dreams beyond profit as their sole goal. 4. Entrepreneurs cannot entirely obey investors. 5. Entrepreneurs are not good employees. This portrayal is reminiscent of what we used to call big shots. Essentially, entrepreneurs are individuals who can establish themselves and change the world with their ideas. Entrepreneurs are not compared to ordinary managers but to figures like artists, thinkers, and politicians. Some scholars even refer to individuals like Newton, Darwin, Martin Luther, Adam Smith, and Marx as cultural entrepreneurs. They didn't sell physical products, but they changed the beliefs, values, and preferences of a large group of people. The problem now is that traditional economics cannot explain entrepreneurs. Traditional economics assumes people are rational beings, but entrepreneurs often seem irrational in their actions. For example, in April 2022, Elon Musk acquired Twitter for $43 billion, a move that many, including myself, found hard to comprehend. Musk is known for rockets and electric cars, and he excels in those areas. The public supports him. However, Twitter, a continuously loss-making social media platform, seems unrelated to his core businesses. After taking over, Musk initiated a series of reforms that not only failed to win favor but also sparked significant user backlash. Was this $43 billion acquisition purely an act of extravagance? Don't forget that Musk's initial success came from creating an online payment tool, PayPal. What does rockets and PayPal have to do with each other? If not for Musk's audacity, we might not have SpaceX and Tesla today. Perhaps Musk is playing a much larger game, or perhaps he is just being audacious, and perhaps, precisely the audacity of entrepreneurs changes the world. Regardless, traditional economics cannot explain Musk's various behaviors. The main strength of traditional economics is predicting the rational response of individuals to incentives. For instance, if apples and oranges are the most common fruits, and suddenly you raise the price of apples, people will buy fewer apples and more oranges, the basic law of supply and demand. If one action is profitable while another is not, economics predicts you will choose the profitable one. If consumers dislike a product, economic theory suggests not producing that product. Economics doesn't believe you should be capricious. Behind the idea of not being capricious lies a deeper assumption. Resources in the world are limited. Economics originally revolves around the study of scarcity. No matter how much money Musk has, it is still limited. If he acquires this company, he cannot use the same money to acquire another, possibly better, company or invest in something more worthwhile. This is called trade-off. Choosing one thing means giving up another. Resources are limited, choices must be made. Limited resources also mean that there's only so much stuff in the world, and if you take it, I won't have it. The competition for resources is essentially a zero-sum game. If the profits left by capitalists increase, workers' wages must decrease. Because you are rich, this is why I am poor. Of course, capitalists can argue, no. Let's all make the cake bigger, and then everyone will be wealthy, right? But if resources are fundamentally limited, the size of the cake is inherently limited. For example, land, oil, precious metals, well-located houses, admission quotas to prestigious schools. No matter how much we expand, it will still result in some people having more while others have less. An increase for some inevitably leads to a decrease for others. So, economics, to a considerable extent, is the study of how to allocate scarce resources. The ideal approach for economists is efficiency first, meaning whoever uses this resource most effectively, whoever is willing to pay the highest price, should get this resource. This way, the cake can be made bigger, benefiting everyone in the end. Alternatively, if we can't wait for the ultimate outcome, we'll follow popular opinion and pursue fairness first. Even if the Eastern region has taken many good projects, and we in the Western region lag behind, for the sake of balanced development, shouldn't this project be given to us? This brings economics closely intertwined with politics, because once you involve allocation, power is involved. Involving power might not look good, but there's no way around it. How can we distribute in a way that makes the world slightly more appealing, a bit more beautiful? Traditional economics offers three approaches, corresponding to three factions. Libertarians advocate for minimal government intervention. Let the free market autonomously allocate resources. Whoever has the strongest ability and is willing to pay the highest price should obtain the resource, allowing them to utilize their strengths. If everyone plays to their strengths, a market will naturally form its own order, prospering automatically. Supply-siders believe that the government can intervene but must lower tax rates. Lower taxes mean capitalists are more willing to invest, companies are more likely to grow and strengthen, leading to greater economic prosperity. Paradoxically, this could result in higher tax revenues for the government, enabling them to prosper as well. Left-wing scholars argue that the government should manage the economy. This might involve top-level design, such as reducing taxes for areas you want to develop, suppressing areas you don't want to promote, providing subsidies to certain businesses, granting more welfare to specific demographics, and implementing policies to reduce carbon emissions, among others. Despite their differences, according to Gilder, these three factions share the same underlying principle: incentive. Whether through market-driven incentives or actively imposed by the government, it's all about rewards and punishments. Do this, get rewarded, and people will do more of it. Do that, get punished, and people will do less of it. Straightforward. Policies worldwide are based on incentives. With external incentives, people have internal trade-offs. This job is dirty, tiring, and nobody likes doing it, but as long as your salary is good, people will do it. They may not love doing it, but they will do it. The most important incentive is money. Because of money, many people work hard physically. Countless parents allow their precious children to work tirelessly in a 9-to-6 job. It enables numerous strangers to cooperate automatically, and it keeps various self-organizing systems running smoothly, making the world efficient. Gilder harshly criticizes traditional economics, but I believe he missed saying one thing. Traditional economics successfully explains most economic phenomena. In fact, with these two principles of people respond to incentives and trade-offs, I think most people have insufficient awareness and need some clarification. Economics is indeed an extraordinary theory. However, traditional economics truly cannot explain entrepreneurs. This person has already accumulated immense wealth, enough to last for generations, theoretically not needing money to incentivize them to work hard. Yet, they not only work hard but exert all their efforts and risk their entire wealth. What are they after? There are many such people. If you had the ability and opportunity, you might do the same. While entrepreneurs might not make up a large proportion of the population, their total numbers are substantial. They don't make money to support their families. They make money to accomplish more significant things. Gilder says, the objects of capital migration are not those who can spend it best, but those who can expand it best. Traditional economics can explain incentives for consumers but not for entrepreneurs. And precisely because Gilder and Zhang Weiying both believe that entrepreneurs are the creators of economic growth, they argue that traditional economics can explain everyday economic phenomena, but not the growth of the economy. Economics usually studies the economy as a stable system, and traditional economics struggles to understand revolutionary economic growth, precisely because it fails to understand entrepreneurs. The lack of understanding of entrepreneurs is due to a focus on incentive methods. Behind these incentive methods lies the assumption of limited resources, and behind the assumption of limited resources is an even deeper belief. Only material things are wealth. This is what Gilder calls materialist superstition. If the only resource in the world is land, and land is limited, then perhaps we don't need entrepreneurs. Maybe having the state allocate land is the best solution. Left-wing scholars have their reasoning. The existence of entrepreneurs is fundamentally because real wealth is not material but knowledge. We will delve into this in the next part.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.